Got it.
We're live.
Okay, we're live. Good morning, anybody who is watching. We welcome. I'm in Edinburgh, Scotland, and it's a slightly rainy day today. It's one of those kind of pearly, silvery mornings here that have got their own kind of bleak beauty. And there's Timo drinking, and he's 30 miles away from here. He's editor. And this is day 3 of an edit that we're live streaming. If you've joined us before, you'll know what happens. But this is a collaboration between us and the great composer Linda Buckley and the sound designer Ania Przygoda and stills photographer and filmmaker Gemma Thorpe. And it's funded by Creative Scotland, and it's a 4-screen installation that will be in Foot Market here in Edinburgh shortly. And it's a collaboration also with the great people at the Wilhelmina Barns-Graham Foundation. And what it is, it's going to be an art installation projected on 4 screens with 8 channels of sound. The screens are going to be huge, like as big as the walls of my edit suite here. Like, well, not quite as big as that, but that's, by the way, my film books. That's a sign that I'm a true film fan because I've got loads and loads of them. But anyway, so the idea is to surround the audience with 4 screens and lots of music and give them a real sense, a kind of sensory experience. The experience is inspired by a day in May 1949 when Wilhelmina Barns-Graham, a great Scottish painter, climbed the Alps and had something happened, and it kind of changed her life. And this installation is about those kind of life-changing moments. What happens to you when you see something or feel something and you think, my God, of course, that's always been lying and waiting for me. A kind of epiphany. But is it epiphany something new, or is it something that was sort of in you, ready to be activated, almost like those flowers in the desert that sort of are dormant for years? So that's our theme. We're doing it in quite an unusual way, as we've told you previous days. We're editing, we can't edit between the 4 big screens because they're not here yet. So we're editing in 4 little quadrants, as you'll see. And so Timo and I are really having to use our imagination to massively, massively increase the scale in our mind of each of these 4 screens. And imagine, instead of looking at them like this, we'll be looking at them like this all around. And in the installation itself, you notice I use my swivel seat there. In the installation itself, we will have swivel seats. So you can, if you come to Edinburgh, you can do this and look around, look around the 4 screens. And so day 1, we sort of introduced the world of our story, the theme, some of the themes, the fact that we're in the Alps, the fact that it's about how we look at the Alps, how do you look at mountains, etc. And we introduced our main character, and our main character is split in 2. It's Wilhelmina Barns-Graham, but the older Willie and the younger Willie, and they are in dialogue with each other. So that was day 1. Yesterday, day 2, we got deeper into our themes, and we brought out some of the metaphors in what we're doing. One of the metaphors is that we're trying to give a sense of almost being in the Alps, but instead of using images of the Alps, we're using images of Wilhelmina Barns-Graham's paintings of the Alps. So there's that one remove, that separation, which is often a kind of a fertile territory for metaphor. And also, if you were watching yesterday, you heard us talking a little bit about a kind of, it sounds slightly fancy phrase, but a psychic space. We want to get into the thought processes, the way that Willie looked and felt when she was making pictures and when she was having these extraordinary, profound experiences in nature. And so today, day 3, we think, Timo, we'll get to the end of this cut, do we? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
That's because we are super fast workers. Like most people do not work at this speed, but we are limber. And so we'll get to the end of our story, and then we'll probably watch back at it and then make tweaks, probably all today, perhaps. And then we don't know exactly what will happen tomorrow. We have other things to do, but they might be so boring, those technical things, that we might not even share them with you. That's possible.
I think there's a good possibility because, yeah, I mean, I showed it before, but maybe just I quickly show the people who haven't maybe seen it yet. What Mark was describing is, so these are the quadrants that Mark was talking about. So we have screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4, and we need to look at, in order to look at them all at once, I just made them smaller. And basically then once we finish the edit, I will take screen 1, so these 2 layers only, with the sound that comes with that, and then we will repositioning basically just that and the text that's on it, and do that for each of the screens. So it will be quite dull and will be very repetitive. And
you mean the subsequent days, like tomorrow, for example? You mean yes?
Yeah. Yes. So once we're finished with the actual edit.
Yeah. We might still do it in public, but it's, it's pretty specialist stuff. I think we'll finish a lot of the creative decision making today, like script and story and thematics and sensory stuff will probably all finish today. Would you agree, Timo?
Yeah. And we are at, because like the piece needs to be an exact time, doesn't it?
Yes, it needs to be 14 minutes 50 seconds approximately.
Yeah, so we are at 12:23 just now.
Yikes, that's slightly longer. I would love to be at 12, but that's okay. I've done some trimming this morning in the script, Timo, so we can rattle on. So we might run over slightly and then have to go back and take out a few things, which is quite normal in an edit, really, isn't it? Nearly always the first cut is too long.
Yeah. Or like sometimes you just think, oh, actually, in the context of everything, that's not needed, or
it
goes better without it. And
I think there's already one sequence in what we've done, I think, that we can use. I should apologize. I've got COVID, and so I'll be coughing a lot. The reason you can tell that I'm sick is that I'm wearing knitwear. I never wear knitwear except when I'm sick. It's that kind of comforty thing, So. Anyway, so Timo, where were we? What was the last bit of script that we inserted?
And from above it says younger Willie.
Yeah, and from above it. Okay, and we were picture-wise, this was all just in black, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you for that Gertrude Stein. I changed this morning. I got up and I had some change of thoughts about the ending of the script, and so I emailed Timo this morning that we were going to have one quote at the end of this, but I thought again of one of my favorite quotations from Gertrude Stein, where she says, observation plus construction make imagination. And I think Willie Barns-Graham, that's exactly what she does. So we'll probably put that at the end of the film. So we've been on black, black, black for a bit here, Timo, and sound-wise, we've just got the dripping sound of the kind of cave-like space, or have we got any music? No, it's just dripping.
No, just dripping on all screens.
Okay, well, we're coming to the last section of our story, and so this is an opportunity to bring in one last piece. Let me just read out what she's going to say at the end so we get a feel of it. And so she says, and from above it, because it was you. And by it, she means the glacier. And the older woman says, what do you mean? And then I've cut a bit. We were scratched into it. I'm scratched now and lined. That's what 50 years do. So we're getting to a point, one of the themes is when you're older, what do you feel like looking back at your younger self? And so this is quite an elegiac section here, I think. And this might be a moment, Timo, you remember we've been using the same 2 pictures of Willie all along, but do you remember I mentioned that we've got another older picture of Willie, and I think this might be the moment to bring it in.
Okay.
And that's in the photos of Willie.
Yeah.
And it's the last one in there. It's a really nice picture of her wearing glasses. And to see that, yeah, that one, I quite like that. And I think it's a good quality image. And she's talking about being older and being scratched. And of course so I think that's really nice. And you can see the lovely photographic grain in this, in the pre-digital age. So let's use that picture instead of the previous older Willie.
Yeah.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Because You know, it's just we're getting to the end. And also in terms of the younger Willie, I think we should start using the color picture of the younger Willie instead of the black and white one. That's just for a bit of visual variety.
Yep.
And those two will be nice to look at, yeah. So
the wider one.
I think the closer one. And then when we're hoping to zoom these up further when we do the next stage, aren't we? It's, I mean, as I mentioned on day one, this picture, this gorgeous picture of her, the original photograph is slightly out of focus, so I've tried to increase the focus of it, but it will look slightly soft on the big screen, but that's fine. It's vintage.
Okay.
And then music-wise, Timo,
Yep.
if you go into the Linda music,
yep,
there's one piece that I think is really good. It's number 5, like a huge Scotland high cello.
Yep.
And it's quite elegiac, but it's so lovely. So I think after we've had silence and dripping noise, it would be lovely to get some music here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, how long is that piece? It's
1:23.
Okay, that's pretty perfect, actually. I think that Linda's music has been so, I think we've used almost all of what she gave us, except for there's one really long bit which we haven't dived into. But yeah, so let's just lay that in, Timo, and see.
So just from the point from above it, or
yeah. Let's just look at the script here. From above it, then I had written, because it was you, what do you mean? Maybe we can lose those lines and just come in on, we were scratched into it. I'm scratched now. Yeah, it'd be nicer, wouldn't it? Because it was you, what do you mean? I mean, we were sutured. Yeah, I think we can lose that. We're going to have to lose script anyway. And I think, what do you reckon?
So it would go, and from above it, what do you mean? Sorry?
Yeah, or from above it to, we were scratched into it. So that would be losing quite a few bits here.
So it would be 50 years, because you could see into the glacier, and from above it, we were scratched into it. Yeah?
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Because we're going to have to lose time, so we might as well lose these lines. They were never my favorite lines.
Yeah, I think that's good, yeah.
Yeah, so from above it, and then we can go to the new picture, the music, the new picture of old Willie, the new picture of young Willie. They look at each other for a moment, you know, they're really looking, the young woman's looking at her older self, the older self's looking at the younger woman, and so no dialogue for a moment, I think. We were scratched, so that's the first one. We were scratched into it.
Yeah.
So that's losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's losing about 6 lines, but that's good. But as I say, no dialogue just yet. I think and I think young Willie on screen 2 and 3, and old Willie on screen 1 and 4.
Yeah.
And for those of you who have not tuned in before, if indeed there's anybody tuned in, which is possible that nobody's watching, screen 1 is upper left, screen 2 is upper right, screen 3 is lower left, and screen 4 is lower right. It's a lovely picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny, you know, obviously pictures taken in the pre-digital age, even though they're not often super sharp, when you zoom into them a lot, you see the film grain, and that's got its own kind of lovely integrity, you know, and that's the case in this image. It's a real classical portrait, that color one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Slightly, in classical portraiture, you turn your shoulders slightly one way and you turn your head slightly the other, so you've got a slight torque in the body. And as I was saying yesterday, you don't look exactly at the painter or at the camera, you look just slightly over their shoulder to give it's a touch more mysterious.
I remember as a kid when my mom would take me to take passport photos and things, like the guy in the booth would always do that to me. I was like, what are we doing here? Like,
just slightly, yeah. Nowadays it has to be square on in passports, but it's that sort of slight turn of the body and turn of the head is, yeah, very Dutch portraiture. Ooh, it's brightening up here.
Yeah. Don't need to do that.
Those of you who are watching for the first time, if anybody's watching, what Timo's doing here is positioning these pictures roughly in each quadrant, because after we are happy that the project is working, then we'll split this into 4 films, as it were, and then position each of these images much more precisely to get the framing. So, for example, we'll try and make the color picture here, the head of Willie, the same size as the black and white picture, so they, to get that kind of equivalence of young looking at old. But it's just rough here to make sure that it's working. Nice.
And then music starts over those images, yeah?
Yes, let's see. I mean, I like the fact that Linda's music often starts really gentle, and that's appropriate here. You cut, maybe, the music will almost be silent, I think, at the start, and that's good, because we want to see, wow, here are two new pictures of Willie, and then the music, the high cello can come in and see that subtitle there, Timo? We were scratched into it. Sorry, could we change it to we were scratched into the glacier?
Yeah. What have I done here?
I don't know what you've done here.
I lost Willie. Stupid me.
This is where you really have to use your imagination, because these images are beautiful, obviously, but imagine then each of those 4 images are bigger than us. It should hopefully, the intensity of the stare from older Willie to younger Willie should hopefully have some power. I keep quoting every day this thing from Shakespeare, Henry V. Eke out our imperfections with your thoughts and make imaginary puissance. Remember when Tilda Swinton and I and others did the ballerina ballroom cinema of dreams? That's what John Byrne, I asked John Byrne to write it on the door on the front, because our cinema that we made was very handmade and ramshackle. And so we asked the audience to eke out our imperfections with their thoughts.
Okay.
All right. So let's see how that works with music and no words. So are we still hearing the drip, drip, drip? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's want to go down, so
yeah.
I probably need to actually.
I should turn my stupid off so we don't have.
Maybe they should the cave should go down quite soon after.
I think so, yeah, because this is a change of moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, I wonder, should the cave ease out almost to zero before we get to the pictures?
Okay.
It's nice to go to zero, but it needs to go down more slowly, doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought maybe it's adjust a little bit, but yeah, let's go.
Is that the very beginning of Linda's music?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I like that. And
yeah.
I guess the music should start quite gently, Timo. So maybe ramp it up a little bit so that it isn't coming in too hard.
To ramp it down, you mean? Right.
Yeah. We'll start. I think ramp it up from a slight. So the music comes in quite quietly, and then it can grow over the course of this incoming sequence. (111 frames).
I think I've done my thing again, Mark.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
If there are any actually talented editors out there who I can work with, please contact me. Because this guy keeps pressing the wrong buttons. And now I'm just seeing people share a different screen because I'm just seeing a big list of something or other here. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I think that's a really nice ramp up. I think the music could start just a little bit later, Timo. So it would be nice to get to the 4 photographs with no music, just for a beat, for us to go, wow, look at those pictures, and then the music comes in.
Okay. Yeah.
Then let's just enjoy that for a moment, and then we'll bring in our next piece of dialogue. We were scratched into the glacier.
How much of a moment do you want there?
I don't know. Not too long. Is this music too sad?
I don't know. I think it gets a bit edgier, doesn't it? Like a bit scratchy, actually. So actually, it just sounds a bit scratchy, which is what we're about to say.
Yeah. Because they're down at the bottom of Linda's music. There's that big long piece called Float.
Okay.
Which we haven't really. Have a quick listen to it first before we commit to this. Before we commit to this piece of the high cello. Float, yeah. It's more electronic-y. I know you're still rendering here. Is this Float you're listening to yet?
Yeah.
It's 35 minutes or something.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it might be better, might it? I just think the cello is slightly doing a.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the cellos feel as if it's slightly trying to tug on the heartstrings, which we're not trying to do, you know. Yeah, I think that's more. We're trying to sort of really be in an imaginative space here, you know, which is between an older woman and her younger self, but also the triangle of the glacier as well. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? It's more modern. That can go on for ages. And I think those pictures, this whole sequence, we just stay on those 4 pictures.
Okay.
This is the second last sequence of the installation, basically, you know, because the last sequence is going to be the glacier today. So we're almost there.
Okay. Sorry, it's worth rendering. Again, the pictures are huge, so
yeah. It's a nice problem to have, huge pictures.
Oh yeah, it's a bit more than I thought, though.
What? 8 minutes? That's fine.
I mean, like, how long? For how long are you think we're using those 4 pictures?
So it's going to cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 lines. So that's going to be, well, a minute or something.
Okay, yeah. If you don't mind, maybe I just take the dog quickly just outside for a pee.
Go for it.
Like my dog's on steroids now, so she needs to pee all the time.
Right, okay, go for it, Timo.
But it only should take a minute.
Sure. So what we're doing here is rendering. And what that means, not that I totally understand what that means, but it means that when you're dealing with really quite big files, then the computer can't hold it in its temporary memory. You need to turn these files into, put them in the timeline in a more permanent way. So if you can see a little counter there, it says 7 minutes, 36, 38, 35, 38, 36 seconds. So that's Timo putting these images in a way that then they won't clog up things when we start to do the next bit of editing. And in the course of this film, we've had images. We've had a lot of images of Willie's paintings, and we've had images of her. We've had moments of darkness and dripping like a cave. But coming to the end here, I think the best thing to do is just to stay really simple and have the younger woman on screen 1 and 4, and the older woman on screen young and 4, and the younger woman in screen 2 and 3, and just have them look at each other. Because what they're going to say here is, I think hopefully quite substantial. And the older woman's going to say to the younger woman, "I'm not even sure I know who you are anymore." She says, the older woman says to the younger woman, "I have gaps, many gaps in my memory. You're one of the gaps." So she's saying to her younger self, "You are a gap." And then she says the other thing, "But that day isn't." And I think this is sort of the theme of this. As I've got older myself, I've noticed something similar. You can forget you can forget key elements of your younger life, but you don't forget the epiphanies. They are there permanently, kind of hardwired. And you can sort of tell in the moment of something remarkable happening that it's going to stay with you forever. And I think that's sort of what happened with Willie. And so she says to her younger self, "But that day isn't a gap." And then the older Willie says, "I wish I were you." And the younger Willie says, "I'm glad you are." And the old Willie says, "I'm not." Just playing a lot with age. A lot of my films, a lot of my work recently has been about this idea of aging, getting older, and what you lose and what you gain. So this is a moment about that. Mission accomplished, Timo?
Yes.
Super.
Let me just see, like, maybe this is enough for now.
Somebody, Timo, has just said on Twitter, "Hey, Mark, I've been tuning in and off this week. I'm not mentioning the person's name. I'm a friend of Timo's. As a fellow editor, I think it's very brave to share your creative process, a great resource for students. And you can always tell me if Timo keeps being naughty and pressing the wrong buttons."
I know who that is. No, thank you. It is like, yeah, I think if it's the person I'm thinking of, we were texting a bit last night.
Right.
And it is, yeah. Thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. Where are we? So
yes.
Scratch. So which screen should that come on to, the scratched one?
So that's the older Willie speaking. So that should be both the left screens, I think.
And black, I guess, should it?
It's tricky, isn't it? Because her shirt there is black, but the rest of the image is white. I think choose whatever, because obviously when we come to position things more carefully, the subtitle doesn't need to go in the middle of the frame quadrant. You know, it can go, or it doesn't go to have to be lower middle. It can be on the right bit or on the left bit. This dialogue coming up is mostly the older Willie talking. Yeah, it looks as if it's going to need to be black. Unless you want to just put it on the left for now, Timo, over her jacket. That'll work, wouldn't it? Just use the black bit of her jacket.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's readable, isn't it? Sorry, I need to do a bit more. Bit more rendering.
No, just the image is cropped there, isn't it? Well, on set. One, and it's not appearing on 4. Sorry, I just don't quite know where I cropped the image, so
Oh, yes.
I just need to.
Well, would it be easier if you just add the second?
Fine. It's just going to take it's just a sec. So
just going to the loo, excuse me.
Yeah.
back.
Great.
Because my you know, when you get COVID, your taste buds get a bit rubbish. So last night I made a curry and I put about 4 chilies in it. You know, it would blast your head off, and I could still hardly taste it.
I didn't. I mean, I don't know whether I had COVID, but like Kate had COVID for sure, and I had a cold at the same time, so I would think it was COVID, but maybe it wasn't. But I didn't have the tasting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Kate had the tasting.
There's so many different types. The last time I had COVID, it was just awful. As you know, I had really tricky. But this time it just feels like a sort of flu or something.
Yeah.
It is much better. Yep.
And then quite quickly the next one. Or?
Yeah, this is a proper dialogue between them. So quite not too many pauses, you know. The next one is I'm scratched now and lined.
And again, that's old, isn't it? Older.
Older, Willie, yeah.
Do you want slight pauses between them, or just straight?
Yeah, not hard cuts, just because but a small pause, but not a lot. Yeah, right there. I'm scratched and lined. And then the next line, once you've done that.
I keep doing, sorry. Like, I don't know what's going on in my brain, but quite often my brain says, this is screen 1.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Which one?
That come from.
Which one do you think?
I think screen 4 is screen 1 for some reason.
Well,
don't know what my brain is doing there. There we go. All right.
Nice. I like it. And then the next line I think we cut because she says that's what 50 years do, but that's obvious what she means. You know, we've already talked about 50 years. So I think we can just lose that line and have young Willie come in and say striated.
Yep.
You know, that's the sort of glacier term, striated pavement.
It's fine for now. Like,
yeah,
we get the meaning and we get the just.
Sorry, I missed that. I have been printing something out. The music's working, isn't it?
Yeah, quite dreamy and
It's modernist and it's.
we had Blade Runner yesterday and today with Michael Mann or something.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have.
And then and I have gaps. This is back to the older Willie. I have gaps, many gaps in my memories. You're one of the gaps. But that day isn't. It's actually nice, the subtitles left of center. Do you think we need the line many gaps in my memories, or is that clear? If we went from and I have gaps, you're one of the.
I think it's useful. Yeah, I think that line is good to keep.
Clear that it's about memory.
Yeah.
And then the next one is you're one of the gaps. And again, that's the older Willie. That's us over 13 minutes. So we've only got 1 minute, 50 seconds to finish this off. And the next one should come in quite quickly because she's sort of contradicting herself. You're one of the gaps, but that day isn't. Yeah, like she's so that thing. I'm remembering the experience in the glacier more than I remember my younger self. You know. Did I tell you, Timo, that I wanted to insert a line here? The poet turns the world to glass. Did I email you that this morning? No?
No.
Okay, I'll email it to you just now. All right, that's gone.
Do you want the music to just go to the end of it?
I think right to the end. Is it? Do we need more articulation in the music, or are we happy with it?
I think it's nice.
I think
we
it's
don't need like a big crescendo or anything, do
no, definitely not.
1450, is it?
Yes. Oh, you mean to the very end? No, I think the music will come out before we see the final images of the glacier today. So we don't. I think there should be no music over that.
Okay.
So the music will continue until the script ends. So the next, I've emailed you that new line, Timo.
Yeah.
Which comes in after, but that day isn't. I've only got a few more lines to go. And that's older Willie as well. Nice. I know that's quite a mysterious line, but it's a line from Emerson, actually, which I've always liked, and I think she would have liked it in that. Nice. And this is the final exchange coming up between the two of them. Quite intense, I think.
I don't know, because it's quite an admission, that line, to be maybe do something, I don't know, to underline that a bit by just maybe get rid of the younger one or something like that.
Which line? I wish I were you.
Yeah. Just, or do you just want to keep on?
Yeah, it's interesting because what she's sort of admitting to is the past is gone. You know, this younger woman no longer exists.
Exactly. So like,
but then the younger woman's going to come in and say something, and the younger woman's going to say, "I'm glad you are." So she's ping-ponging back at older Willie, and then Willie says definitively, "I'm not." So do you mean lose younger Willie just for a moment?
Just for a moment. I wish you were.
Yeah.
I wish I were you, but I'm not. So therefore, we cut away from her.
Just for a moment. Yeah. I think that would work. Yeah, good idea. Maybe young Willie goes out before that line. Do you think, if you're going to cut her out? Otherwise, she's going to be out for a very short time, isn't it?
I think the meaning might get lost if you don't know why she's gone yet.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
And we could do the same for I'm not, if you wanted.
As long as it doesn't get tricky.
We don't have to. I think once might be enough.
I think once is enough, because I think we want to be looking at the young Willie when the older Willie sort of says, basically, you no longer exist, you know, and so it's better to, yeah. Very powerful image, that, isn't it? I think when see the way she's turning slightly away from her younger self in this image, this photograph. When we come to look at the images individually, we might just look at flipping that image around, you know, or flopping or whatever it's called, to see if it looks better the other way. quite a powerful thing to say, isn't it? I wish I, to your younger self. They'll probably need to be in black, won't they, Timo?
Sorry?
They'll probably need to be in black, those two subtitles, I think.
Okay.
They are in black. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean on black, Timo. I meant that
Oh, sorry. In black.
they just the letters should be in black. And it's okay staying on these four images, I think, because it's sort of they're very good images, and we need to see them confronting each other here almost. If you don't mind putting those last two subtitles slightly to the left or something, Timo, just so that they're more readable for the time being. Yeah. And then she comes in, I think, quite sharply, the older Willie, you know, to contradict, I'm not.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of killer line, isn't it? I like that. That's the feisty older person saying to the younger person, don't be so naive, don't be so sentimental, you know. Three more lines to go. I'm happy with this running time on Judy. Look, it's going to fit quite nicely, I think.
Yep.
Total guesswork, in a way.
Want to tell people why it's 1450?
Yes, this is running 1450 because we want this installation to repeat 4 times an hour. So exactly at noon, noon 15, noon 30, noon 45, etc. But it's running 1450 rather than 15 minutes because we want to give people 10 seconds to get out of the installation before the next bunch come in. Something like that. It can be 1445 or something. These last 2 lines are what connects this to Story of Looking. I'm better painter because I've seen more.
Yeah.
See that maybe that subtitle could move further left as well, Timo, so we can see the words than you.
Yep. Okay.
Nice. So I think a number of things here. Basically, this is the end of our story, and then we're going to go into this coda, this afterword about the state of the glacier today. So a number of things could happen here. I think the music could fade out before the last two lines. Timo, we're going to have to get out of the music anyway, but I think we could fade out before the last two lines so that they're on silent, because they're really stark.
Yep. Okay.
And also, I think the young Willies on screen 2 and 3 could fade out as well.
Okay.
Just leaving the older Willie. I know you've got some.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. Yeah, sounds good. And then silence for the end.
And then I think silence for the end, or the sound of melt water again, or something like that.
Yeah, the cave thing was nice, wasn't it? So maybe that. Yeah.
The weather's crazy today. 5 minutes ago it was pouring, and now it's bright blue here.
It's blue here, but it wasn't raining.
I just heard that our film March on Rome was screened in Brazil recently.
Yeah.
Well, it says effusive. Somebody who was at the screening says effusive applause afterwards, and then shouting against Bolsonaro.
Wow.
That's good, isn't it?
Well, that's the reaction you want, isn't it?
That's the reaction you want.
That's really good. Like, the timing is incredible for that project as well, isn't it?
I know, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Same with like it's just like you have some time machine or something. Same as women make film, isn't it? Like,
yeah, well, as you know, we started Women Make Film before Weinstein, even, but it sort of
like a year before.
Years before Weinstein, but it hit a moment of when people were thinking, oh, well, really, we should know more about these great women filmmakers of the past. But so those timings are luck as much as anything else, I think. But when they work, they work.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the exciting part of editing.
Waiting for the rendering.
For the bar to go from left to right.
Yeah. It's interesting how we're going to do this last moment. I mean, the audience will all know that the glaciers are melting, and we've got some images sort of basically before and after images, but we'll have to do it in a sort of, well, we can look and see.
It doesn't need to be too, like, I think there's an old image and a new image with some cave sound will probably be subtle enough, but also strong enough.
My favorite shot, I've got a really nice, well, when you're ready, I can show you it, but I've got a really nice live shot of the glacier trickling, so there are a couple of options, but we don't, this is not a documentary, this is not a piece of journalism, so we can't. But we have got a very nice before and after. I think.
Yeah. Sorry, shouldn't be long now. Okay, yeah.
So I think fade the music out, as I say before. So the last two lines are maybe her last three lines are just on silence. So that's the third. So either there, fade the music out quite slowly, I think, or either up before that line or after that line. $111, 333.
Just easier to press the same button 3 times. Instead of
when we were dubbing in Chinitita, you know, doing the sound mix, the sound designer was going, but why is there like a sort of weird, like 41 frame mix here or something like that? Well, why not? You know.
Was he really?
Yeah, because what happened is, do you remember your information didn't carry across? So they had to guess how many frames transitions were.
Oh, dear.
So usually, you know, they would guess 25, 50, 75, 100 or something like that. But because they didn't have that information, so they were typing in 41, no, 42, no, 43, etc.
So sometimes just for fun.
They were cursing you.
You know, sometimes just for fun, I put in numbers that I like.
Yeah.
You know? I didn't know people need to guess.
Yeah, that's going to work. It just needs to end a little bit earlier. It's just clipping that you're happier than I am, so just slightly earlier. I know, but it's clipping, but I'm a better painter than you, I think.
So it should end before I'm a better painter.
Yeah, I think those last two should be on total silence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And then the two younger Willies should fade out before that last line, do you think?
Maybe on I've seen more? What about that?
Oh, I've seen more, right? That's just her final line, right? So this is very much about the older woman saying, the advantage of living to my age is that I've seen more than you. So I think we should ideally just be on her, the older Willie.
Okay.
Does the dissolve work, or would a cut be better?
Let's try it.
Feels slightly sentimental, the dissolve.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's better cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
And then we just cut her out as well. I'm wondering, should we put a little bit of breathing, one of the nice breaths in there right at the end to feel that we're really, really close to the older Willie at this point?
Okay. Yep. On just 1 and 4 or all screens?
1 and 4. I think, and it should come later once the music is ending, once the music has ended, and when I think we're in this silent space for a moment. So the music ends, we hear a moment of silence, and then just breathing.
Yep.
Lovely. Yep.
God, it almost feels like she's dying though, doesn't it?
Well,
That's powerful. It's good.
It's powerful. It works. I think breathing takes us right close to her. It's as if she's whispering in our ear, which is good. So that's all. That works. And
Yep.
the timing's good as well. So, what we have for this final moment.
Sorry, I just need to take the sneeze out.
Okay.
Yep.
So just a moment of black, and people think it's over, and then we're going to cut up to 2 pictures, which are contrast. These are actually of the lower glacier, but she climbed the upper glacier, but it doesn't really matter at all. These two pictures clearly show the difference between where the glacier was and where it's not now.
Yeah.
So these two pictures are in the Alps old paintings folder.
Yeah.
And the first one, Timo, is a black and white one that's called Scan 0233. That one.
And that's on all four?
No, I think it should be on two screens, and then the modern version of the same place should be on. So that should be maybe on 1 and 3, or 4 and 2, or whatever. So diagonally opposite.
Okay. And then the other one is?
The other one is called Scan 0255 enhanced. So there are two of them called Scan 0255, and one of them's enhanced once and one of them's enhanced twice. So it's the enhanced twice.
Yep.
And that's a good contrast because that's definitely the same angle, isn't it? And the same, yeah.
Oh my God, this, yeah.
It's really good, isn't it?
You can even see just like the trees.
Yeah.
How they grew.
Yeah. So that's really good. That's really good, isn't it? It's very depressing. And so and it's funny cutting between them, actually, almost animating them works, doesn't it? But I think it'll really work for the audience to see the black and white. And what do you?
We could do something like that though as well, like just switch them, you know, like so have them diagonal.
Yes, have them diagonal, then switch them. Yes, good idea. So we'll put them. Which one? What are you going to do? The black and white one and 4 and 2, or
let's do 1 and 4.
1 and 3, and yeah, and then the color one, and then cut between them.
Yeah.
And when we cut between, we'll position them on screen so that's exactly, there isn't a little jump. Yeah, and it doesn't need any comment. I mean, I got various bits of information about what proportion of the Grindelwald glacier has disappeared, and it's something like 90%, but I think visually it's better to do it because people can just go and Google that sort of stuff.
One, two, three.
Yeah, that's going to be very clear, isn't it? I think the breath, no more breath. So yeah, the breath should leave before we see the landscape pictures.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wonder before, that's nice to lose that breath. And before we go to the landscape pictures, we've got two very nice close-up, semi-abstract shots of ice melting.
What are they?
It's in the folder called stock footage.
Yeah.
And there's one that begins 0700, yeah, that one. And then there's one that begins 09467. I think they would both look lovely on a big screen. This one in particular is very nice when it starts like that bit.
I think I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
All like that on 4 screens?
Yes, I think so. And that should be before the landscapes, yeah? Or what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's lovely.
I think just silent, huh?
I think just silent. Yeah. And then the landscapes. Should they have the trickle? Maybe they should have the trickle music over the sound over them. The landscapes.
Okay.
And there's one or other shot that I maybe.
Is there another shot you wanted before this, or?
I don't. Let me show you two final shots. They might be. Maybe we go to the 4 landscapes and then we go to 1 or 2 of these final shots because they're both very good. They're in the folder. they might be good for end credits actually. So the folder called Grindelwald clips.
Yeah.
And there's a shot. Are you in it yet? Yeah.
Yeah.
C1284 and C1285. Very static shots, but just there you can see the waterfall. Can you see?
Yeah.
So that's very good. So that would work very nicely with the trick. That's the glacier actually melting in front of our eyes.
I think that would be good for credits.
Credits, yeah. And have a look at 1284. That's 1285. Have a look at 1284 as well. I mean, they're powerful images of seeing it. Yeah, so let's put the credits over those two. Tiny little waterfalls in a huge landscape, you know.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking, you know. And I think the trickle, obviously not the sink sound because there's bad wind, but just the melting water sound over those two would be very nice. Oh, we forgot our coat. Where are we going to put our coat, Timo?
Just before the credits, huh? Just after the
4 landscapes.
Yeah.
Okay. That says it perfectly, doesn't it? You don't need facts and figures.
No, but do you want to do the switch thing?
I don't know. Is it even necessary? Would people's eyes not do the switch for them?
Yeah, maybe it's
I think
too
let people's eyes just move between the screens. Leave it super stark.
Yeah. Well, then let's just do the credits and work backwards and see how long that should be then, huh?
Yeah, let's put the coat in.
Yeah.
Gertie Stein. There's an argument for putting that after the Willy breathing and before we go to, you know, this final environmental point, because Gertie's talking about imagination here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that because she's commenting more directly on what Willie did than on the environment, not on the environmental point.
You want the breathing over this quote?
No.
On all 4 screens, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Not too long in that, I don't think.
Mhm.
We haven't got the exact wording of the credits, Timo, and we've got them almost there, but there's no point in making them exactly until we get it finalized. And so what we might do is sort of just add in the shot and put end credit, and then hopefully over lunchtime we'll get the final wording.
Okay.
Very nice. Very nice.
How much do you want for end credits?
Doesn't matter. We'll just fill the what's our exact so we're going to put in, we have to put on a clock.
10 seconds enough?
Oh yes, definitely. And then we have to put on this clock or something for, let's say, the last 15 seconds. So let's aim for 14:45 to end the credits. And then this clock saying we'll repeat.
So where we are right now, which is after this.
Yes.
Is 14:39.
Okay, that's pretty good. Well, so let's maybe those last 4 shots should be slightly shorter. No, I just mean that those very last 4, that last quadrant.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's take another, I don't know, 5 seconds or something off that.
You do want to give people enough time, though, to
feel wow. Okay, well then the end credits are going to be on 2 cards, but they'll be on at the same time, obviously, you know, so yeah, that's still going to work, isn't it? So if we put on 2 shots and 2 end credit cards at the same time, and that'll still leave space for a clock, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, do you think you need that clock if you just started? I mean, if it's just 5, you know, like people, I think it will be hopefully an experience where people go like, oh wow, that was, I don't know, people will not just sprint out within 10 seconds, I think. So if it then starts over again.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have it because you know, when I'm in a gallery and I think if I've only walked halfway, I mean, the signage outside will say, you know, every 15 minutes, but I think we do need to put a card saying like a huge Scotland will repeat in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, like that, or something quite small, you know, but it just helps. I think it helps.
Okay.
So let's say we need 10 seconds for that. So the credits should end at 14:50. So how many seconds would that give us for end credits?
So the end credit but then we go over 14:50 with the clock, yeah?
The clock starts at 14:50.
Okay, yeah, then we have 10 seconds for end credit.
Perfect. So let's put the end credit shots in now, and we'll wait for confirmation of the wording. So we've got 2 of those mountain shots. Shall we use 2 and 2? That one and...
So have 2 shots, but the same credits on 2 different shots?
No, it's 2 sets of cards. It's two cards of end credits. So one card would go over 2 mountain shots and the other card would go over the other 2 mountain shots.
Okay.
And they're on at the same time. They don't follow each other. They're on at the same time.
And do you want them diagonal again, or?
Yes, diagonal's good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice, and we keep the trickle going, don't we?
Yeah. Okay, and then
Nice. And then this, so this should be in this blue typeface, the same as at the beginning, like a huge Scotland, and then just put underneath it. What do we say? Begin again, or restart? We'll restart. Restart.
like that.
Sorry, I was doing something else. Like a huge Scotland, and then we'll restart in, yeah, that's nice. And then we'll just have to do a countdown. Wonder, should we leave? Because I think after lunch, Timo, if it's okay with you, after lunch, we'll watch it and decide if there's anything we need to change, and therefore that would affect the clock. So should we just leave the actual countdown until we've locked picture?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, great. But I think we're there, basically. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Great. Okay, so I know we're finishing early there, but it's only 25 to 12 or something. But and I, with my not feeling great, I could just sort of break for a little bit. So can we recommence at 1:30, Timo? Is that all right? And we'll look at it and make any, obviously there are loads of visual changes we'll have to make at the next stage, but just in terms of running time changes, we'll make after lunch.
Super.
If anybody's watching, thank you for watching today. We will, as you just heard, look at the whole 14-45-minute installation at 1:30. So if you want to join us then, that'll be the first time to see it in total. And then Timo and I will discuss, we'll make notes, discuss, and see if there's anything that feels too long or too short or not visual enough or any of those questions. So see you